Shenzhen Metro and Vank's dual chairman Xin Jie has mysteriously gone missing for 23 days. Behind it lies a web of red capital reaching up to the CCP's very top. At the same time, The Economist revealed, in China, on average one entrepreneur disappears every week, plunging the business world into fear and a wave of flight. This storm may be the beginning of the collapse of the CCP's red elite system. China's economy is in trouble. A dual chairman, who simultaneously controls 200 billion yuan giants, Shenzhen Metro and Vanke, has mysteriously vanished for 23 days. Behind it all, the thread leads to Xi Jinping's family's red capital chain. At the same time, one line from The Economist shocked the business world. In China, on average one entrepreneur disappears every week. This is no metaphor. In just 9 months, 39 senior executives of listed companies have gone missing, from Beijing and Shanghai to Shenzhen, virtually all red-topped businessmen. Some were taken away, some chose to end their own lives. China is staging a battle royale of entrepreneurs. And all of this is happening on the eve of the CCP's fourth plenum. The economy has collapsed, confidence is gone, and even red families can no longer protect themselves. In the story ahead, you'll see how a company that was once a legend in Chinese real estate was dragged into the abyss by red patronage, and how the thread of a red treasury hidden beneath metro tunnels and Vank's property empire leads step by step to Xi Jinping's relatives. Shenzhen's dual chairman goes missing. On October 11, a bombshell broke online. Xin Jie, the chairman steering both Shenzhen Metro Group and Vank Group, has disappeared. It said he was taken away on the spot at a conference in Shenzhen on September 18. The news took 23 days to surface. Now both Shenzhen Metro and Vank are playing dead, no one is saying a word. In fact, there were signs before the news of Xin's trouble broke. His signature work, the 5-star landmark St. Regis-style Shengtingyuan Hotel in Shenzhen, which he helped create, quietly changed its sign to Xin Jie Hotel. According to public information, Xin Jie's last appearance was at Vank's shareholders' meeting on June 27, where he said the integration of Shenzhen Metro and Vank would achieve a 1 + 1 > 2 effect. But for nearly a month thereafter he made no public appearance, until the news of his disappearance emerged. Xin Jie is 59 this year, just 1 year shy of retirement. Unexpectedly, he has now retired early, albeit in a special way. Xin is an old hand in Shenzhen's state asset circle, moving from old city redevelopment to hotels, from Metro to Vank. In 2017, he took over as head of Shenzhen Metro. In early 2025, after Vank posted a 45 billion yuan (RMB) same below loss and executives like Yu Liang resigned, Xin Jie stepped into the breach and took on this hot potato. From that day on, his daily job was to transfuse blood into Vank. In the first half of this year, Shenzhen Metro lent Vank 25.9 billion yuan. In September alone, another 2 billion yuan was transferred. Yet Vank still couldn't be saved. It lost 11.9 billion yuan in the first half. Interest-bearing liabilities were 157.8 billion yuan, while company assets were only 69.3 billion yuan. In simple terms, a funding gap of 88.5 billion yuan, one breath away from bankruptcy. Worse, Shenzhen Metro itself has been hollowed out. In 2024, it lost 33.4 billion yuan. In the first half of this year, another 3.3 billion yuan, 2 consecutive years of huge losses. As of end June, Shenzhen Metro's total liabilities stood at 479.6 billion yuan. This, "you save me, I drag you down" pas de deux has now tripped the breaker. Without Shenzhen Metro, Vank would have blown up long ago. With Shenzhen Metro, they blow up together. If Xin Jie is gone now, Vank may freeze entirely, because the state capital transfusion line has been pinched off. And the fact that Shenzhen Metro jumped in despite knowing Vank was a bottomless pit likely wasn't a mere decision error, but tied to turbulent red elite entanglements behind the scenes. As early as 2016, Shenzhen Metro had signed a cooperation agreement with Vank. When Xin took the helm, Shenzhen Metro was already Vank's largest shareholder. In other words, the alliance was already set. Xin was just the baton holder in the cleanup phase. But the mess was too big to wipe clean. For whom was Xin carrying the can? The Vank-Shenzhen Metro alliance. Let's rewind to March 12, 2016. On that day, Vank and Shenzhen Metro signed a strategic cooperation MOU, formally announcing their alliance. Vank's then chairman Wang Shi had long thrown himself into the arms of red capital and red elites. On December 18, 2015, Vank shares were suspended for a major restructuring. According to Radio Free Asia, at that time a tycoon group claiming to be private capital, the Chaoshan-based Bowning Group, had poured hundreds of billions in, aiming to take control of Vank. With Bowning's assault, Wang Shi panicked and launched a defense war, seeking to introduce state capital, a red backer. Thus, Bowning ran into a red alliance formed by Wang Shi, Anbang Insurance, Shenzhen Metro, and China Resources. Together they successfully forced Bowning to retreat. On the surface it was a capital tussle, in essence it was a classic case of private capital being counterkilled by red capital. Anbang was rumored to be linked to Deng Xiaoping's family, while Shenzhen Metro worked closely with relatives of Xi Jinping. From then on, Vank's relationship with red elites took on a clear outline. So with red capital on stage, who was the real winner? When the deal was announced, some media revealed, hidden within Shenzhen Metro's vast state assets was a network of interests belonging to Xi Jinping's relatives. In other words, although Vank preserved control, it transformed from a private enterprise model into an extension of elite capital. According to portions of the leaked Vank Shenzhen Metro MOU, part of Shenzhen Metro's quality assets would be injected into Vank. And what were these quality assets at their core? Properties built over subway stations, so-called overstation developments. In plain terms, buildings on top of metro hubs. Those plots of land at station entrances, every inch worth gold, malls, office towers, residences, hotels, all on the list. Back then Shenzhen Metro had as many as 10 such projects, each a money-printing urban complex. Shenzhen Metro's line sounded simple: we specialize in building subways, property development isn't our strength, so we're partnering with Vank, strength joining strength. Sounds reasonable, until you follow the clues and the story doesn't hold. In fact, Shenzhen Metro had long been in real estate, and had already boarded the Red Capital Express. Ties to Xi Jinping's relatives' interest chain. As early as January 28, 2015, Shenzhen Metro and a company called Shenzhen Yanwei Industrial jointly established Shenzhen Metro Yanwei, a real estate development firm dedicated to overstation projects. In other words, Shenzhen Metro had long been selling land, building properties, and doing real estate. Xinhua's Guangdong bureau covered this at the time, but the report later mysteriously vanished. The Guangdong party organ paper Southern Daily once called the Yanwei Shenzhen Metro tie-up a government-private cooperation, revealing that in one large project their stakes were 40% and 60%, respectively. That report was later quietly handled too. Why? Because the private here wasn't ordinary private, it was red. Yanwei Industrial was in fact the company of CCP leader Xi Jinping's sister and brother-in-law. According to corporate registry records, Shenzhen Yanwei Industrial was founded on September 8, 1997. Its legal representative is Deng Jiagui. The shareholders are two, Deng Jiagui and Qi Qiaoqiao. If these names sound familiar, you're right, they are Xi Jinping's brother-in-law and sister. Moreover, Shenzhen Metro once quoted a People's Daily, Jiangxi Channel, report about Xi Zhongshuan returning to his hometown with family, openly stating that Qi Qiaoqiao and Deng Jiagui are Xi Zhongshuan's daughter and son-in-law. In 2006, the firm underwent a change. In addition to Qi and her husband, a director named Zhang Yannan was added. Media have previously reported Zhang Yannan is Qi's daughter. This is clearly Xi's family enterprise. Therefore, when Vank chose to cooperate with Shenzhen Metro in 2016, it essentially completed a red share-in ceremony, becoming part of the red capital system. Now, with both Vank and Shenzhen Metro unable to hold on, Vank hemorrhaging and Shenzhen Metro losing blood, and with Xin Jie reportedly taken away, it suggests the Xi family's patronage is failing and the red chain is close to collapse. Over the past decade, Xi Jinping has wielded anti-corruption as a weapon, shouting clean politics while engaging in family gold mining. Now that a red capital earthquake is underway, even Xi's family cannot escape. Another real estate tycoon, Wang Jianlin, admitted in a 2015 Harvard speech that Xi's sister Qi Qiaoqiao and brother-in-law Deng Jiagui had once taken a stake in Wanda commercial properties, but that before Wanda listed they voluntarily exited and bought out all shares, clean and tidy. Wang used this to praise Xi as strict in governing the country, stricter in governing the family. But subsequent revelations showed that although Deng sold, he sold to a trusted lieutenant of more than 10 years. Clean on the surface, but in substance just a change of vest. That's why Xi's anti-corruption, no matter how you look at it, appears to be a political show. Xi nabs one a week, the era of China's entrepreneur purge. After taking power, to cling tightly to control, Xi Jinping didn't just conduct anti-corruption purges across party, government, and military. The business world became his next battlefield. Recently, The Economist stunned the market with one line: Chinese entrepreneurs are disappearing at an astonishing pace, roughly one a week is being seized. By late September, at least 39 senior executives of listed companies had gone missing. One a week, the business community is living in fear. The official term is liuji, which sounds like an investigation but is actually extrajudicial detention. Originally used by Xi to nab corrupt officials, it has now been upgraded into a grab the entrepreneur program. From being taken away to taking one's own life, the darkness deepens. Previously, Hubei's former richest man Wang Linpeng ended his life, shocking the public. On July 23 this year, after completing 4 months of liuji, the chairman of Beijing-based Yuan Home, Easy Home, Wang Linpeng, chose to end his life 4 days later on July 27. There's also Yu Faxin, chairman of Zhejiang Zhenlei Technology, a high-tech figure in military chips, suddenly subjected to liuji. And these are only the cases exposed, many more have vanished without a trace. The CCDI itself admits that in 2024, the number placed under liuji surged 50% to more than 38,000. Finance, pharmaceuticals, real estate, and tech have all been swept. On the surface it's anti-corruption, in essence it's Xi tightening absolute control over business. Xi-style anti-corruption has morphed into a new round of economic cleansing. Beyond arrests, there's another punishment, being placed on the dishonest debtors blacklist. With China's economy in winter and businesses struggling, the blacklist is exploding: no flying, no high-speed rail, no hotels. By the end of September, 200,000 people had been newly blacklisted this year, 10 times 2019, before COVID. From entrepreneurial China to disappearing China, 10 years ago, China was still shouting mass entrepreneurship. Now, even a chairman might vanish mid-train ride. So-called common prosperity has resulted in power hoarding wealth while enterprises share poverty. Chinese entrepreneurs no longer fear market risk, they fear that the next person, placed under liuji, could be themselves. In plain terms, it's because Xi has wrecked the economy and has started harvesting the rich to plug the gap. Don't believe it? Look at China's latest economic data, you'll see that chives are no longer enough, they're pulling up the roots. Data collapse before the fourth plenum. Xi faces his toughest economic test. The CCP plans to convene the 20th Central Committee Fourth Plenum on October 20, originally to discuss the next 5-year economic plan. But before the meeting, the data already collapsed. A glance at the latest August numbers shows a full blackout: industrial value added up 5.2% year-on-year, a one-year low; retail sales up only 3.4%, the lowest since November last year; fixed asset investment up just 0.5%, the worst since the pandemic; urban unemployment up to 5.3%, real estate investment plunging 12.9%, and exports to the US collapsing 33.1%. It seems the economy's 3 engines have all stalled: exports gone, investment cold, consumption flat on the floor. The market has little hope for GDP above 5%. This fourth plenum is destined to open amid an economic earthquake. Meanwhile, starting September 30, the party mouthpiece People's Daily spent 8 straight days pumping Xi Jinping economic thought, talking big about stabilizing expectations, strengthening confidence, promoting development. It sounds like pep talk, but looks more like self-hypnosis.